All right. Good morning. There is no place I'd rather be than with all of you this morning for our weekly sales meeting. Excited to have all of you with us here this morning, and very excited for today's topic, today's subject matter, and today's panel. Which will be a bold recap. We're going to be talking top takeaways with some very talented real estate professionals. And we're just going to jump right in here. As we have been for the last 4 weeks, now the fifth week, want to talk about the 6 personal perspectives. Personal perspective number 5 is one that gets hammered throughout the bold experience, right? You're going to hear from a few folks today about shifts in their mindset, the way that they think differently. And that comes down to unlimiting your beliefs or removing your limiting beliefs. And some examples of this might be the way that we talk to ourselves about our ability or capacity really drives the way that we approach problem solving. And so when you say, I don't have enough time, or I can't win in this market, or that's only for big teams, or that's only for experienced agents, or whatever it is, anything that you are doing to put a lid on your success or your opportunities is something that needs to be addressed. And the top agents in the world, the fastest to find success, are those who look at the problem and pull that locus of control internally and say, hey, what can I do? If I need more time for lead gen, how do I make more time, right? Instead of saying I don't have enough time, the question becomes, how can I make time, or where can I make time? And so removing limiting beliefs is the 5th personal perspective, and a really powerful one, and one that some other folks on the call today are going to do a much better job of articulating than I will. So we're going to keep on trucking. And then just a quick visitation of our beliefs. In this market that we are in, one is called to think about some of these beliefs and how we're working with them and leveraging them and leaning into them in the crazy market that we have. And I want you to, I know that there is a lot of frustration, there's a lot of challenge, and there's a lot of heartbreak for some of our clients as we go into these multiple offer scenarios, and we go into these environments where it's hyper competitive and there's really difficult decisions that have to be made from, around finances and terms and to get into the home. And despite everything we might do, we still might not get in. And I think about commitment. And look, when the market's really good and it's really balanced and prices are up and there's all these positive things, and a lot of us maybe got into real estate because, there was this appreciating market, and there was this opportunity, and we saw others around us having a lot of success. I know that's what led me to real estate. And then, when the going gets tough, you think about this commitment one in all things, right? So to your goals, right? Just because it's a challenging market, don't stay committed to those goals, stay committed to those clients, and they'll stay committed to you. So as you approach this week, let's take a look at where our commitments lie and how we can redouble our efforts around commitment in all things, right? We are coming to the end of the first quarter. Do we need to revisit our New Year's resolutions? Do we need to recommit to some of our goals with our personal and professional life, with spending time with friends and family, with travel, whatever it is? Let's look at those commitments that we would have made 90 or 120 days ago at the business planning clinic, and make sure that they are still staying top of mind in every part of our life. All right, guys, you've heard us talk about this. We were very excited to announce and bring on this week Kelly Mann, who is leading the charge here in the Rocky River office to welcome our guests and make the place feel wonderful and inviting. And I can tell you, I'm in that office today, and she is doing a fantastic job. And want to continue to let you know that we are growing, continue to grow our team. We will continue to grow our team throughout this year. We are currently in the process of identifying and hiring an assistant market center administrator candidate, and then we will be moving on to other parts of growth for our leadership team. So if you know anybody who would be a good fit for the AMCA role, please pass their information to Julia Cumming, and make sure that we have the opportunity to continue to build this organization inside out, continue to build it based on referrals, and continue to build it with the best people. All right, so big shout out to our BOLD graduates. The Northeast Ohio BOLD that concluded last Thursday was one of the largest in the United States, or largest in the world, I guess we get to say with Keller Williams these days. So one of the largest in the world, and we had dozens of agents from our market center participate and graduate. And you can see everyone celebrating there, wearing their green, as they did graduate on St. Patrick's Day. And then I think based on what I've seen on Facebook, about 70% of the people in this picture went out and sold a house actually to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So congratulations to all these graduates. We're going to hear a little bit more from them in just a bit. So let's touch on some upcoming training. Cannot stress enough that the event this Thursday, our session with Mastering Multiples with Megas, will be one of the most outstanding, if not the most outstanding training that we will do this quarter. We have incredibly talented buyer's agents, and one of, if not our top listing agent in the company, in Josh Young, probably sold over 100 listings last year. This is a can't miss, guys. Getting both perspectives. Hey, if I'm working with a buyer, how do I put together an offer that is going to be compelling? And then getting the listing agent to talk about the way that they're receiving and interpreting offers. Really, really powerful stuff. And want to do a little promo here from Mike Pasadin and Mikey Pasadin, the big bad listing daddy, as Pasadin refers to himself, as well as the tiny bad listing daddy, his son.
Hi. Hey, everyone. This is the hashtag BBLD here with the hashtag TBLD. That's Tiny Bad Listing Daddy. We're enjoying the last couple minutes of sunlight here on Sunday night. Everybody, please tune in and take a look at our class on Thursday, the 24th at 3 p.m. We're mastering multiples. I've got the TBLD here to tell you why. So why are we going to our class on Thursday?
So we can sell houses.
And why do we need to sell more houses?
To make money.
See? Everyone join us on Thursday at 3 p.m. for Mastering Multiples. Have a good one.
All right. So a great little promo there. Thank you, Mike, for helping us out with that. Guys, we're really excited about this. We have, as of yesterday, there were 90 people signed up for this class. And we got to the point where we had to double check our Zoom capacity. We can take up to 500 people in the class. So this is a great example of our culture, a great opportunity, a great learning opportunity for anybody at any stage in the business. So if you know someone that would benefit from this inside or outside of our company, please get them the link so they can sign up. This is going to be a really powerful session. Oh,
hi.
Okay. I don't know how to do this. All right. And then who do you know who should be at our Rocky River Career Night next Monday, March 28th? So it has been a couple of months since we've took this show on the road and brought it to the West Side. Very excited to do that. Already have about 10 folks signed up. Know that we have a couple folks bringing guests. We are thrilled to be getting this on the calendar every month moving forward in both offices. We had a tremendous turnout for our East Side event on the 14th, and am really excited for the West Side one. We had about a dozen people in the room, as you can see, as well as a dozen more online. So there will be opportunities on the West Side to get some people in the room, help them learn more about and fall in love with Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. So if you need more information on that, or if you have somebody that you'd like me to invite on your behalf, super simple: name, phone number, email, and I will get on it and make sure that you are denoted as the referrer. And then mark your calendars for our Q2 kickoff. Go get tickets right now. Sign up for this right now. We have an amazing event planned, and it's coming together at the beginning of the second quarter on April 13th. We're going to have top agents, right? That's who we are. It's what we do. So we're going to be hearing from them. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened in the first quarter from a market standpoint. What's that really tell us about what the spring market's going to look like? We have just confirmed, and we'll be announcing a very cool, very unique keynote speaker, bringing a perspective that I think is going to get us all really excited about who we are, what we do, and most importantly, where we do it. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit more about what is on the horizon for our company in the second quarter. So get that on your calendars. It is in person only, guys. We are getting back to pressing the flesh here. And so once per quarter, we're going to throw a big one of these. So we will see you on Wednesday, the 13th, if not sooner. And then mark your calendars. Lots of updates coming down the pike. We are just about a month and a half out from Red Day, Keller Williams International Day of Service, and we are going to have some really fun, really cool, and some tried and true opportunities for you to volunteer and participate in the culture of Keller Williams on Thursday, May 12th. All righty, then let's throw it over to our partners now, starting with Sean and Dawn. I don't.
On vacation in Disney this week, Mike.
Must be nice. I figured him more of a Ringling Brothers guy, given his clownish behavior.
Yeah. Quick interest rate update. Rates are changing. They're changing fast. There's definitely no longer a 3 in that first number. Rates are solidly in the mid 4s. So if you had pre-approvals that went back to late last year, you might want to revisit that with your loan officer, myself or Sean or Chris, and just get those updated because, if the interest rates increase easily by 0.5% or more, people may not qualify for what they qualified back in December. Some other good news is coming from the credit bureaus. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion announced major changes that's going to erase about 70% of medical collections from credit reports. Those will go into effect on July 1st of 2022, which is just about 3.5 months away. What they're saying is that collection accounts will no longer be reported on personal credit reports. Let me correct that from here. Paid medical collection accounts will no longer be reflected on personal credit reports. And they've increased the time period before they will start reporting medical collections from 6 months to 1 year. So that will give people to get caught up on medical debt. And then lastly, in 2023, the credit bureaus are no longer going to include medical collection debt under $500 on credit reports. So that's all good news going forward because medical collections do affect credit scores heavily. So we're going to see some major changes here in about 3 months and first of next year in 2023.
That's awesome. You know, Sean, or excuse me, Don, when we were talking last week, you know, I think you used the phrase, you know, around these interest rates, right? We're going to have our clients, they're not going to see a 3 in front. Maybe a conversation we had in November is going to be very different than this one.
Yes.
You used the phrase that interest rates haven't gone up. They've normalized, right? We're back to pre-pandemic. Like what was November, December of 2019? What was an interest rate back in those days like?
November, December rates were probably around 4.25 to 4.5. And actually yesterday, the Fed, Jerome Powell, came out and he got real hawkish with his commentary. We lost about 3/8 in interest rate from Friday to yesterday, and rates hit a 42-month high yesterday and are continuing into today. So the going forward, it's ugly right now.
Yeah.
But again, rates are back to where they were pre-pandemic.
Yeah. Well, and that's always the challenge with rates, right? It's relative. It feels like I lost, even though if I bought a house 10 years ago, I would have been paying, I probably would have had the 7s.
The other side of the coin is wages. If you want to look at this and try and rationalize things, wages are up currently from where they were in 2019. I'm not going to say it's a wash, but housing is still very affordable.
We have a question in the chat here. Don, does the credit change also affect medical loans, or is just medical like any past due bills?
Medical collections.
Medical collections.
The past due bills, collections, not loans.
Okay, thank you for that.
And I don't know it anyways that a medical loan is reported on the credit bureau.
Interesting.
Now there's a credit card out there called Care Credit. That's a credit card, but that's reported. That has nothing to do with being a medical collection. But this is strictly for medical collections.
Excellent.
I meant medical student loans. Like
no, student loans would definitely be reported.
Okay.
Especially and medical student loans. There's been no changes to student loans yet, aside from the fact is, I think in the coming months, May or June, they're going to start having a repayment again, because right now they're all kind of in forbearance. So repayments will be starting going forward, I think, in the month of May.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much for that update, Don.
You're welcome.
All right, over to our team at Title, Greater Metropolitan Title and Escrow. What's the latest and greatest there?
Good morning, everyone. So I am just going to go over the difference kind of between when you guys request a net sheet versus when you request a prelim, and kind of what situations you request either one in. So a net sheet is pretty much a rough estimate of exactly what a buyer or seller will either make in the sale of their home or what they need to bring to closing in a buyer's case. What you would really need, what a great tool for a net sheet is if you're on a listing appointment and, you already kind of talked about the price and, conditions that they would like in the sale of their home, that is a great tool to bring to that appointment. It also, for a buyer side, it is great when you guys are negotiating a deal. How much will they have to bring to closing? What are title fees? Just so they get feel more comfortable knowing what is going on. When you would request a prelim, this is kind of for something that we would already have in the works. So if you sent in a contract earlier in the week and they're requesting, fees and all of that stuff, that is when we request a prelim. I just wanted to also point out that I am on the road most of the day, sometimes all day. And unfortunately on my phone, we don't have our system in there. So if you guys do request one, I don't really know if we have the deal yet. I try to keep track of all the deals, but that doesn't always work, unfortunately. So if you guys ever email me and want one, just mention in there that we already have the deal, and I'll kind of, know whether it's a net sheet you're asking for and a prelim. And then I will also post on Facebook what we need for the net sheet, so far as like property address, purchase price, commission, monetary items such as water, sewer. I'll post that on Facebook just for a reminder.
It's awesome, guys. In a market like this where there's a lot of information flying around for our buyers and our sellers, and they're consuming it from places other than us, things like net sheets and prelims are really powerful in bringing clarity to a conversation. And working with, folks who, first-time home buyers or first-time home sellers, not understanding everything that goes into either side of that. This can really help them understand, like, okay, what is it? What is the math? How is this all coming together? What do I need to bring to the table? What am I walking away with? And so please leverage the team at GM Title for that sort of information. And then I know Gina is not with us today, and I didn't see Jess. So we are going to dive right into our panel today, and I'd like to bring to the main stage Mr. Ryan DeLuca, Mr. Brian Brobst, and then we had teed up Miss Bernadette Robinson, but she has come down with one of those nasty spring colds. And so we had an open seat and we said, what are we going to do here? Well, why not call in a guy who closes for a living and recent Bold graduate, our cross-country mortgage partner, Chris Bulloch. So we hit up Chris this morning and said, hey, man, would love to get your perspective on this Bold experience, because you're new to the industry, new to the company, and of course now new to Bold. So I want to start just by asking you guys to give a quick introduction, how long you've been with Keller Williams, and then how many times Bold is this for you? So Ryan, why don't you kick us off?
Good morning, everyone. Mike, thank you for having me. I started with Keller Williams in August of 2018, and this was my second time Bold. The first time I took Bold was October of 2018, so taking it now, years later, different spot in my business, my life, and definitely different perspectives.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Brian?
Hey guys, I've been active for about a year now, and this was my first Bold and awesome experience. Can't wait to do another one. It's really an eye-opener. It's a good deal.
That's awesome. And Chris?
Thanks, Mike. Obviously, first Bold, just, joining Sean about a year ago, getting into the finance side. I did sell real estate for a while in new construction in Columbus, but a lot of news, new to Cleveland, new to cross country, new to the office here in Pepper Pike, and new to Bold. So it was an amazing experience, definitely.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about, I want to just open with, and all the Bold graduates could probably predict this first question, but in Bold there are, I think, 37 Bold laws, and their rules for the way that we think or the way that we approach our opportunities. I want to start with, what is your favorite Bold law? Give us the Bold law and then tell us why. So Chris, we'll start with you.
Sure. Honestly, I could probably pick like 10 of them, but big takeaway, probably one of my favorites, what you focus on expands. And my thinking there is, not a huge believer in things like The Secret. I was like kind of standoffish about, well, if you truly wrap your mindset around something, it'll start to show up in your life, right? I wasn't so sure about that. No, I think if you really do focus on something, you really do make it a part of your day-to-day life, it shows up. It just shows up. And as long as you reach out and grab it, there you go. So that, leaned into that through the whole Bold, process, and came away with that one just being like, yeah, keep that mental attitude, focus on, achieving your goals and watch it grow.
There's that mindset piece. It is a little, maybe not a little, maybe a lot uncomfortable, right? To say out loud and really say, what do I want to focus on? What part of my life do I want to expand? Right?
Yeah.
All right, Ryan?
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from. The one that resonates with me the most is your business grows to the extent that you do. And especially being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, you always have to work on yourself to get better. And the truth is, the more you invest in yourself and being learning based, consistent, your business starts growing, your business gets better, you get better. And that law also helps pour into all different areas of your life as well.
That's awesome. Is there a place that, you know, you had an aha around during the last 90 days, let's say, around where you feel like you need to level up so that your business can follow?
Yeah, it was just the account, what you focus on expands type of deal. Clarity is power. So literally starting the week off with knowing your numbers, what you're going to do, you're focused on that, and just implementing different things, listening to different podcasts, and putting time into your schedule to develop yourself, which is part of your job description. Some things that we get away from sometimes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Brian, bring us home on bold laws.
Oh my gosh. Like the guys already said, I could probably relate to almost every single one of them, but being this my first bold, I decided it was about me, and there is no try. That's the one that really hits me. We all know I wasn't excited about going into bold, a little trepidation there, but that's the big one I got. There is no try, because it starts with your self-commitment, accountability, and stuff like that. But yeah, there is no try. That's my big one.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And that when we start to remove that word from our language, it you know, we stand up a little bit taller. You know, we're not trying to get into this house. We're not trying to be a realtor. We're not trying to have our best year ever. And we start doing, and that is really, really powerful. I want to circle back to something that Ryan, you touched on. A big part of bold is tracking your numbers, being accountable to your peers, right? And sometimes that is the most exhausting or intimidating part of bold. Now that it's over, right? Let's not stop doing that. What sort of systems for accountability or tracking, or what are the things that you have your sights set on for the next 90 days to continue that level of tracking and accountability?
Sure. So I actually developed a pretty good relationship with my accountability partner. We did talk every day, 7:45. We reviewed our goals for the day, what we're going to focus on. And so we already put in our schedules. We're going to be touching base a couple days a week, moving on every Monday. Before we start the day, we're going to review our weekly goals. And we're going to check in with each other at the end of the week. Just, did we hit them? What might have stopped us from doing certain things? And just to bounce ideas off of each other, which is beneficial for the both of us.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a huge relationship to carry forward. And I love to hear that's coming through. Now, let's pull that apart a little bit. When you're having to do that, like, you know, obviously this person's not your boss. They're not going to fire you. They're not going to stop being your friend. What is it about just having to say out loud, I wanted to make 50 contacts and I made 5?
That's what it is. It's a sense of guilt. You do. You don't want to sound dumb talking to them. It's like, she's like, well, what stopped you from doing that? And it's just a reflection period, and a sense of accountability to that. Just reflect on what you need to be doing and what you need to stay focused on.
Yeah. Brian, how are you bringing forward some of those accountability and tracking techniques into your year?
Well, you know, being in my first real year of it, I need more systems. I need to set up systems. The big thing I started with was the DTD2 system. That is really helping a lot. And the other thing is, I got the Bold Planner before we went to Bold, and it's got so many good systems in it. It's got the 411 every month. It has your goals by annual, month, and week that you review in the 411, and then the daily tracking of listing appointments, listings taken. It reminds me that, oh, I didn't take a listing today, you know, and I got to be accountable to myself. To go back to what Ryan said, my accountability buddy, we're going to stay close. And yeah, having to report to her if I didn't do it is not fun. not fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I love the plug for the Bold Planner. It can be a really powerful tool to take big goals and make them manageable, right? And I love that approach of the DTD2. For somebody who maybe wasn't a part of Bold, what is DTD2? Give us a quick rundown of that.
Well, it breaks down the entire year of who you need to contact. It'll give you, like, this week I've got to call all my T's and J's, and then I have to text all my H's in my database.
Okay.
And this way it ensures they get a touch.
Yep. I love that. So it's a system to make sure that we are contacting our database where more than 50% of buyers and more than 60% of sellers are inside of our database, right? That's awesome. And so how does it feel whenever you go through a week and you've called all your T's, you've called all your J's, and you've texted all your H's? Do you feel like you got it done, or are you like, oh, wow, I don't know why I did that?
No, it's a great feeling to get it done. But if you get done early in the week, it gives you a chance I got to go out and find more T's and more J's, because this is going to come up again.
Yeah.
Come up 3 more times. So I don't want to have a short week the next time. So now I need to fill those spots up.
I love that. Build a database, feed it regularly, and talk to it consistently. That's awesome. Chris, what about you? I know you've got, probably one of the most aggressive managers in the history of mortgage looming over your shoulder most of the time, and Sean Hadley. But accountability, tracking, how are those things, carrying forward for you?
Sean, very nice guy, but very busy. That's how I do it. I had to kind of come up with a little bit of my own models, just because, the people that I'm seeking out are all of you. I'm trying to create relationships with you, or financial advisors, or, I'm working with customers too, but the bread and butter for me is to meet all of you. So I had to kind of take what Bold, had set up, alter it a little bit. DTD2, obviously that just makes sense. You can make those calls. If they're in your database, you have their info. I do what I call a power hour, where, every day, time block 1 hour, I sit down and all you do is call. Just make your calls. But, I have a book. You've probably seen Sean walk around the office with his book. I stole that idea from him. I track my numbers in the book. They leave the book, they go into a spreadsheet on my computer. And a huge part of my model is to get all of them into the database, where it's all automated from there. So I plan to keep that going as long as possible, as long as I'm in this business.
That is awesome. That is a really good, consistent, sounds like good, consistent system. Who else shared on that spreadsheet?
Say that again?
Who else has access to that spreadsheet where they could see, like, how many people you added in?
Sean,
Okay. Nice.
Anyone in our marketing department, I suppose they could hop in there and take a look.
Very cool. I mean, it's those little things, right? Where if somebody else can pop in and see it, how does that impact our behavior, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So I'm going to stay with you for a second, Chris. Bold is, I think, the first step or the first 2 steps, and then the first part of every day is around mindset, right? It's known for creating big mindset shifts. And I think you hit on this a little bit with your favorite Bold law, but now versus 90 days ago, what's the biggest difference in the way that you're thinking?
Sure. One of the more emotional days, I think it was maybe day 2, touched on gratitude and how it's important to be grateful. It's important to, when you appreciate someone, reaching out to them and letting them know. I texted my wife. We had to reach out to someone that morning and let them know that you're grateful for them. I text my wife. She texts me back, thanks a lot. Now I'm crying in the office. That meant a lot to me. It's going to be hard to get away from knowing when you're grateful, when you reach out to people, it has a lasting effect. And, the positivity that it created, the responses that I received, that's going to really stick with me. I took a lot away from that class.
That's really powerful. That is often pointed to as one of the most dramatic inflection points in people's bold experience, because once we start to look for things to be grateful for, we find that our cup is pretty full.
Definitely.
Yeah. Brian, how about you? What's the biggest difference in the way you're thinking now versus 90 days ago?
Well, I think now I know more of the whys. Why do I need to do this, or why do I need to do that? And the big one for me is, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. Like Christopher said, the gratitude exercise, that was mind-blowing. It was the person I called, it just blew her mind. And
yeah.
it just made me feel so good about doing it. Now I literally still do the journaling every morning, and I write down my gratitudes. And you're right, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. When you realize how much you're grateful for. So
yeah, that's aside from the sale of real estate, aside from cultivating clients, it's sometimes shocking how little it takes to make someone feel better. And so, the getting into a good habit around that, you'll never be short of friends. I guess if you can identify what people do well and let them know, that little bit of encouragement could make a difference in someone's day, week, year, life. Ryan, what's the biggest difference versus Ryan 1.0 on January 1st and Ryan 2.0 here post bold?
Ryan 2.0 thinks differently. And what I mean by that is just all the bold laws it just clicked with me. They're all mindset tools. Everything you're going through, no matter your personal life, your business life, any challenge you're up against, every law makes you think differently and come up with some sort of solution. So I found that interesting, that you can always reflect on that. And just going through that class, the past 7 weeks that we did, all the laws are in the back of your mind. So you're always thinking differently. And then another takeaway I had was that mindset, that 1% rule. And are you 1% better today than yesterday? Just 1%. It's so nominal. You can do it. Did you make one extra call? Did you send out one extra email? Did you update one extra client? And did you make your gratitude just one little thing every day, which will compound? And that clicked with me, that I'm going to carry on with me moving forward.
Yeah, it's such an achievable thing, right? Like, you don't have to double your business tomorrow. Yeah,
that's it.
Let's get a little bit better. That's awesome. All right, guys, want to bring it home here. Let's get practical and tactical, as they say. We're going into what is going to be a challenging but very fruitful spring market. Listings are coming on. We've got homes to get our buyers into. We're going to compete and win for them. We've got homes that are going to come on the market, and we have to be good stewards for our seller. What's the takeaway from Bold that you are taking into battle for the next 90 days, right? Okay, mindset's locked in, but what are you actually going to do differently over the next 90 days to capitalize on the opportunity of spring market? We'll start with you, Ryan.
Very good. So I'm gonna say a couple things here. The one thing that clicked with me was the pain versus pleasure principle. And I think we can all think of one thing that you're not doing that you should be doing, that you really need to think about. In mine, it's always coming down to me calling my sphere and my database more. So my action is not calling my database. The pain of taking action would be just uncomfortable, awkward conversations. I haven't talked to them in so long. Again, limiting beliefs. And the pleasure of not taking action, of course, it's comfort. And what's the cost of not doing that? So taking any scenario and applying that, and there's a lot of business left on the table that people do know and trust me. And the reality is, they don't mind hearing from you. And so I'm going to use that and piggyback off of the DT-D2. It's a great system to keep you on track to hit your contacts. And just by doing that alone and calling my database, I've already set multiple appointments I wouldn't have had by not doing that. So moving forward, it keeps you on track to hit your calls, your contacts, and doing what you got to do.
That's incredible. I think, it's an exercise we can all benefit from, right? What's going well right now, positive present. What's not going well right now, negative presence. If I don't change, what's the negative future? If I do change, what's the positive future, right? Mm-hmm. And so not calling your database, there's some positives presently about that. You don't have to feel uncomfortable. You don't have to feel awkward. You don't have to worry about if people are annoyed that you're calling them. But, again, for a database like yours, 4 years in the business, I mean, there are likely a dozen deals in the next 90 days if we're DT2ing. That's awesome, man. And that's a really really mature way to approach it. I mean, you got to be honest with yourself, right?
It is.
That's so great. Thanks for sharing that, Ryan. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, so I kind of have two bold laws that I'm keeping with me going into the spring market here. One big one, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist, and don't mistake movement for achievement. I too often get stuck in my email first thing in the morning, look back up and it's 2 PM and I didn't make a single call. And now I feel like I'm playing from behind. And, I've put together, thanks to Bold, a time block schedule. I have every intent. I intend, no try. I will, use this tool and really conquer the spring market by having a plan and having a schedule in place.
Chris, can we tease a little bit more out about this time blocking thing that you're talking about? Because
sure.
that comes up as so it's not on my schedule, it doesn't exist. And then people are like, oh, well, I time block. And I think some of us, when we have an appointment, it goes on our calendar. When we have an inspection, it shows up on our calendar. But what exactly are you doing differently from a time block versus like having a calendar? What's the difference between those two things?
Yeah, so my thinking on it, and I'm sure a lot of people that use it, I'm scheduling things for myself. It's not just meeting, a client or I have a Zoom call or something like that. I'm saying, all right, at 1 o'clock, I am going to set aside some time for me to focus on something with 100% intent to finish it or do the best I can to get through it. I mentioned earlier, I schedule a power hour. That's what I call it. It's 1 hour. You have a list of names. We're going to work through it. We're going to make those calls. We're going to text. We're going to email. They're going to get in the database. We're really going to focus on it. 1 hour, easy to say, all right, from 1 to 2, I'm going to get this done, rather than sometime today, I'll see if I can get to this. And when it's on your schedule and it pops up, the alert's there that, hey, it's 1 o'clock, it's power hour time, it's hard to deny. Okay, shut the email down and let's get it done.
Yeah, it's interesting when we start to learn that we are maybe more respectful of other people's ownership over our time, right? Not late to meetings, don't miss appointments, than we are for our ownership of our time, right? The ding goes off and it's like, well, I just got to get this one more email. So that's awesome. That is a huge takeaway. I see a lot of people scribbling some notes down right now because that getting into a time block routine and honoring it is a huge level up opportunity. All right, Brian, what are we doing differently? We already heard a little bit about DT2ing. That's awesome. So you can't use that one again.
Yes. It starts with remove limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
I can give you excuses why something's not going to work all day long. Remove those first, and the time blocking. Those are your two biggest tools. And then that's when you would use the one I'm not allowed to mention is in your time blocking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when it comes to removing those limiting beliefs, the gratitude, I'm sure, helps with that. daily tracking helps with that. What else are you systematizing for removing those limiting beliefs?
You know what? Whenever I catch myself expressing a limiting belief, I write it down. And like, why'd you say that? Why'd you do that? You know, and I just look at it that way. And how can I turn it around positive? How can I make it work for me?
Wow. And what's the writing it down makes it more real, makes it seem trivial? What's the effect of that?
Oh, it makes it much more real. Again, that's when you become your own accountability partner. That you see it written there, and I'll go back and look at them the next day. I'm like, yep, I did have that thought. I'm not going to have that today.
Wow. That's awesome. That's really, really powerful. And that is, I think, I mean, that's at the top of the mountain for today, my friend. I think you just mic dropped it. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. You know, we had, as I said, I think over 35 agents participate in Bold. We had a lot of great takeaways. I think, you know, not everybody was able to participate due to schedule or opportunity or not knowing. I know that you guys will be champions of this experience. Brian, I'm so glad to hear that you say you can't wait to take it again. You know, Ryan, second time through, very powerful. So, and Chris, loved having you on, man. Great perspective, great insights. This was really awesome, guys. I know that a lot of people got a lot out of it. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And if you guys wouldn't mind, just as we wrap up and do some thank yous and see you laters, drop your information in the chat box. I'm sure that there's a lot of agents that would love to maybe follow up, pick your brain a little bit, you know, or offer some other insights. So if you could throw your information in the chat box, so if anyone wanted to, they could reach out.